everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm with the Welland Public Library bringing you another grab and go activity. It is hard to believe that this year is half over, but here we are in June already. And if you've been joining us throughout the year, you know that the Welland Library is celebrating its 100th anniversary. And in order to celebrate 100 years at the Welland Public Library, we've been doing a special activity once a month that somehow relates to 100. So we have designed some art using 100 pieces of an object. We have created abacuses using some 100 beads and doing some math using 100. And we even created some art using the number 100 as well. And this week's activity related to 100 is centered around a toy that you may have had or may have made yourself 100 years ago. So 100 years ago, toys looked incredibly different than they did now. Lego had not been invented, nor had Barbie or any other kind of doll like that. The LOL dolls or Monster High dolls were still a long way away. Hot Wheels weren't around yet. And of course, you know that video games and computers and things like that weren't around. So children had to play with other things. And one of those things that they would have played with are yarn dolls. So we're going to make a yarn doll today. Now, I also wanted to update our yarn doll a little bit. And since it's the month of June, I thought we could make a rainbow yarn doll to help us celebrate Pride. So in your kit, you are going to get a bundle of rainbow yarn. You are going to get one long piece of blue yarn. And you're going to get a piece of cardboard that has some ridges at the top. From home this week, all you're going to need is a pair of scissors. So to begin with, you're going to take your ball of rainbow yarn and you're going to find one of the ends and you're going to start wrapping that around your cardboard piece. Now you find the end and dangle that end down at the bottom, and then you're just going to start wrapping. And you want to wrap loosely because otherwise you bend the cardboard and that'll warp the shape of your doll, making it kind of misshapen or too, the yarn will be too loose in some sections and too tight in another section. So just do it very loosely. You can even put your fingers in between, which gives it a little bit of slack before you do that. And then once you come to the end, you're going to slide your cardboard pieces out like so. And then you have a loop like this. And then you're going to take your blue yarn and tie it around the top to create a head. So I have one here where I just created a head. I've tied this very tightly. And I tied it off twice to make sure that it doesn't come undone. You may even want to go 3 times. You want to do it a lot. And then you're going to take your yarn that's created down here and you're going to divide it into 3 sections. So the middle section should be the bigger section because that's the body. And then the 2 other sections are a little bit smaller. So these 2 sections are about the same size and the middle one will have more yarn. And then you're going to take a blue piece of yarn again. You're going to tie that around the middle to create the torso. And then for the arms, you're going to take one piece and you're going to find you're a little bit more than halfway down the arm. You're going to tie the yarn off down there. And then you're going to cut this extra bit here. So you can see that this is my yarn doll here. I've cut that extra bit. And my arms are just a little bit longer than the torso. And then for the bottom part, I decided I wanted kind of a messy skirt. So I just tied it off once. But you may decide you want pants. And then you can take your yarn doll, tie it off twice. And then you just have to tie each one of the pieces or bundles into its own section. And then you have a yarn doll that you can play with. And yarn dolls are great to play with because They have no way to judge. They don't have any eyes or ears or a mouth. So if you have a secret you want to tell your yarn doll, you can tell it, and it can't judge you. If you're mad at something, you can take your yarn doll and be a little bit rough with your yarn doll because it's not going to feel any pain. So you can use it to sort of de-stress if you need to. Now, looking back at some of the great books that children have read over 100 years, I have some recommendations if you need. One is A Wrinkle in Time. So this is a story about a sister, a brother, and their good friend, and something that visits them and takes them on an epic journey throughout the universe. Then there is Paranorman. Paranorman is about Norman, who is just sort of an average boy, but he feels very different from others. And everybody thinks that maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about until zombies take over, and he's the one that can converse with the zombies. We also have What's Your Favorite Animal? So I'm sure most of you have a favorite animal, and so do 14 different classic children's authors. And they've written poems or a little story about their favorite animal in their style. So you're going to see different styles of writing that you're familiar with from these 14 different authors, including Eric Carle. We also have Harold and the Purple Crayon. So Harold stumbles upon a crayon and he designs his whole universe using this crayon. We also have Jumanji. Jumanji is about a brother and sister who find a board game and they think it's just like any other board game they've played until they play it and epic shenanigans ensue. And then one of my personal favorites, we have The Hockey Sweater. So The Hockey Sweater tells the story of a young boy who wanted to have the number 9 Montreal Canadian jersey just like all his friends, but his mother has to write a letter to get the sweater. It was, a while ago when you didn't just have stores in every town. So you can think about it kind of like the way that we may order things online now. You used to have to write a letter to the store to get your items. And what ends up happening is not getting his hockey sweater, the number 9 Montreal sweater. He ends up getting a Toronto Maple Leaf sweater. And then he's kind of teased and mocked while playing some hockey. And then if you're interested in some books about pride, we have Sylvia and Marcia Start a Revolution. And it's really how the pride ended up happening and pride parades began. We have Puppy Pride, that is an alphabet book that tells us all the different things that we can be happy and prideful about. We have Our Rainbow, and that's just a different story about different colors in our community. We have Rainbow Revolutionaries. So this is 50 people that have made a difference in the LGBTQ plus communities. And we also have Canadian celebrations, Pride festivals. And so this is just some information about how Pride is celebrated throughout Canada. Now, if you have any questions, you can send us an email or give us a call. You can pick up your grab-and-go kits and any books using curbside at one of our 3 branches. That's Diamond Trail, Seaway Mall, or our main branch. That's all for now, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye!